मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वम्। व्यवहार करे, एक मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं। एक साथ उच्चार करे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करे, एक मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यम्। आज नहीं प्राचीन समय से मंत्र हमारा साथी, दूर दूर तक फैलाई थी आर्य धर्म की ख्याति। काल चक्र जब घूम पड़ा तब लक्ष्य हुआ था ओझल, जाग उठी है दृष्टि हमारी, रही नहीं अब ओझल। दिव्य दृश्य संदेश स्मरे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, दिव्य दृश्य संदेश स्मरे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, एक मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यम्। वेद और उपनिषद सिखाते क्या कर्तव्य हमारा, राम कथा गीता सिखलाती जो गंतव्य हमारा। मिले विश्व में दूर दूर तक संस्कृति के बिखरे अवशेष, करते प्रेरित करो पुनः तुम बिखरत जागृत के संदेश। पूजन से अवकाश भरे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, पूजन से अवकाश भरे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, एक मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यम्। अखिल विश्व में एक बार फिर उन्नत ध्वज भगवा डोले, अखिल विश्व में एक बार फिर आर्य धर्म की जय बोले। वेदों के अनुशीलन से हम आविष्कार नित नए करें, दुनिया का मानव भारत का आराधन और नमन करें, जग अपना उद्धार करे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, जग अपना उद्धार करे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, एक मंत्र का घोष करे, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यं, कृण्वन्तो विश्वमार्यम्। एक साथ उच्चार करे, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, साथ उच्चार करें, हम ऐसा व्यवहार करें, एक मंत्र का घोष।
आप सभी को सादर नमस्ते जी। आज के साप्ताहिक सैटरडे वर्शिप सर्विसेज में आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। Many thanks for joining. I'm sure many of you are joining in a short while. We will do the Sandhya Yajna special talk on the introduction to Nyaya Darshan, and then we will conclude. And of course, we'll have the bhajans too. We have Acharya Varun Devji from Nairobi, Kenya, amongst us. He has been with us a few times earlier. Acharya ji is a scholar of the Vedic principles. He is a religious guide slash Dharmacharya in Nairobi and is a Vedic missionary and a seeker of Vedic knowledge. We have had him a couple of times earlier, and it's a privilege to have you, Acharya ji, amongst us to lead today's worship services. We are privileged that you are here. And without further ado, I will request Acharya Varun Devji to lead us to the Brahma Yajna, Deva Yajna, and then Swadhyaya as well. Over to Acharya Varun Devji for the Sandhya and Yajna. And Acharya ji, more people will be joining soon, so we can get started.
धन्यवाद विश्रुत जी। सबको सादर नमस्ते जी और सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आज के हमारे इस शनिवार के सत्संग में। आइए हम अपनी अंतः स्थिति को, अपने इनर सेल्फ को अवेकन करें। लेट्स अवेकन आवर inner light and progress, aspire to the omniscient, omnipotent and omnipresent entity परमेश्वर, परमात्मा को इन्वोक करें अपने मन में, अपने प्राण में, अपने शरीरों में एवं इस संपूर्ण जगत में, जिससे कि यह संपूर्ण जगत श्रेष्ठ हो सके, आर्य बन सके। 3 बार लंबा गहरा श्वास लेकर ओम की पवित्र और पावन ध्वनि का उच्चारण करेंगे। टेक डीप ब्रेथ। गायत्री मंत्र का गायन करेंगे अर्थ के सहित और ईश्वर से संबंध बनाएंगे, पिता का और गुरु का गायत्री मंत्र के माध्यम से। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, पालने कर रहा है तू, तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम। दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तू, तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी स्थान। सृष्टि की वस्तु वस्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान, तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम, मांगते तेरी दया। ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला, दाता हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्, धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। अब हम सभी मिलकर आर्यगण ब्रह्म यज्ञ संध्या आरंभ करेंगे। संध्या का अर्थ है सम्यक रूप से किया हुआ ध्यान, वह ध्यान जिसमें हम पूर्ण रूप से एकाग्र हो जाते हैं, उस परमेश्वर के दिव्य गुणों के ऊपर, उसी का नाम है संध्या। और उसके दिव्य गुणों को हम धारण करने लगते हैं अपनी इस पार्थिव प्रकृति में, अपनी इस इंडिविजुअल नेचर में। आइए सभी मिलकर वेद मंत्रों के माध्यम से स्वयं को पवित्र करें एवं स्वयं को लेट्स कनेक्ट अवर कॉन्शियसनेस with the divine consciousness, with the supreme consciousness. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. ओम शन्नो देवीरभिष्टय आपो भवन्तु पीतये, संयोरभिस्रवन्तु नः। ओम वाक् वाक्, ओम प्राणः प्राणः, ओम चक्षुः चक्षुः, ओम श्रोत्रं श्रोत्रम्, ओम नाभिः, ओम हृदयम्, ओम कंठः, ओम शिरः, ओम बाहुभ्यां यशोबलम्, ओम करतलकरपृष्ठे, ओम भूः पुनातु शिरसि, ओम भुवः पुनातु नेत्रयोः, ओम स्वः पुनातु कंठे, ओम महः पुनातु हृदये, ओम जनः पुनातु नाभ्याम्, ओम तपः पुनातु पादयोः, ओम सत्यं पुनातु पुनः शिरसि, ओम खं ब्रह्म पुनातु सर्वत्र। ओम भूः, ओम भुवः, ओम स्वः, ओम महः, ओम जनः, ओम तपः, ओम सत्यम्, ओम ऋतं च सत्यं चाभिधातपसोऽध्यजायत, ततो रात्र अजायत, ततः समुद्रो अर्णवः। ॐ समुद्रादर्णवादधी संवत्सरो अजायत अहोरात्राणि विदधद्विश्वस्य मिषतो वशी ॐ सूर्याचन्द्रमसौ धाता यथा पूर्वमकल्पयत् दिवं च पृथिवीं चान्तरिक्षमथो स्वः ॐ शन्नो देवीरभिष्टय आपो भवन्तु पीतये संयोरभिस्रवन्तु नः ॐ प्राचीदिगग्निरधिपतिरसितो रक्षितादित्या ईशवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ दक्षिणादिगिन्द्रो अधिपतिस्थिरश्चिराजि रक्षिता पितर ईशवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ प्रतीचीदिग्वरुणोऽधिपतिः प्रीदाकुरक्षिता अन्नमिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ उदीचीदिक्सोमोऽधिपतिः स्वजो रक्षिता शनिरिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ ध्रुवादिक्विष्णुरधिपतिः कल्माषग्रीवो रक्षिता विरुध ईशवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ ऊर्ध्वादिक्बृहस्पतिरधिपतिः श्वित्रो रक्षिता वर्षमिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितृभ्यो नमः ईशुभ्यो नमः एभ्यो अस्तु योऽस्मान् द्वेष्टियं वयं द्विष्मस्तं वो जम्भे दद्मः ॐ उद्वयं तमसस्परिस्वः पश्यन्त उत्तरम् देवं देवत्रा सूर्यमगन्मज्योतिरुत्तमम् ॐ उदुत्यं जातवेदसं देवं वहन्ति केतवः दृशे विश्वाय सूर्यम् ॐ चित्रं देवानामुदगादनीकं चक्षुर्मित्रस्य वरुणस्याग्नेः आप्राद्या वा पृथिवी अन्तरिक्षं सूर्य आत्मा जगतस्थस्तुषश्च स्वाहा ॐ तच्चक्षुर्देवहितं पुरस्ताच्छुक्रमुच्चरत् पश्येम शरदः शतं जीवेम शरदः शतं शृणुयाम शरदः शतं प्रब्रवाम शरदः शतमदि नः स्याम शरदः शतं भूयश्च शरदः शतात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। हे ईश्वर दयानिधे भवत्कृपया अनेन जपोपासनाधिकर्मणा धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्षाणां सद्यः सिद्धिर्भवेन्नः। ॐ नमः शम्भवाय च मयो भवाय च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। इति ब्रह्मयज्ञः। अब हम अपना देव यज्ञ आरंभ करने के लिए सर्वप्रथम संकल्प पाठ करेंगे। I request all of you to take few drops of water on the palm of your right hand and please repeat after me. And after the repeating of some Sanskrit, some sankalp part, you will leave the water on the ground. Aham adya devyajnaya karnakarnaya bhavantam ritvik रूपेण वृणे। जल छोड़ दीजिए ऑन द ग्राउंड, ऑन द फ्लोर। अब हम अपना देवयज्ञ आरंभ करेंगे। सर्वप्रथम ईश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थना उपासना के 8 मंत्रों से we will praise the supreme consciousness who has infinite aspects, infinite attributes, divine attributes. We will praise the Almighty. ईश्वर की स्तुति करेंगे, फिर ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करेंगे उन सभी दिव्य गुणों की, उन सभी डिवाइन एट्रीब्यूट्स की, और फिर उपासना अर्थात we will try to be more closer to the divine, to the Almighty Parmeshwar, to feel his presence within our heart. हृदय में, हृदय स्थल में हम उनकी उपस्थिति को अनुभव करने का प्रयास करेंगे। अथ ईश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थनोपासना मंत्राः। ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव। ओम हिरण्यगर्भः समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिरेक आसीत्। सदाधार पृथिवीं द्यामुते मां कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम। ओम य आत्मदा बलदा यस्य विश्व उपासते प्रशिशं यस्य देवाः। यस्य छाया अमृतं यस्य मृत्युः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम। ओम यः प्राणतो निमिषतो महित्वैक इद्राजा जगतो बभूव। य ईशे अस्य द्विपदश्चतुष्पदः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम। ॐ येन द्यौरुग्रा पृथिवी च दृढा येन स्वहस्तभितं येन नाकः यो अन्तरिक्षे रजसो विमानः कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम। ॐ प्रजापतेन त्वदेतान्यन्यो विश्वा जातानि परिता बभूव। यत्कामास्ते जुहुमस्तन्नो अस्तु वयं स्याम पतयोरयीणाम्। ॐ स नो बन्धुर्जनिता सविधाता धामानि वेद भुवनानि विश्वा। यत्र देवा अमृतमानशानात् तृतीये धामन्नध्यरयन्त। ॐ अग्नेनय सुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् यूयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नम उक्तिं विधेम। इति ईश्वर स्तुति प्रार्थनोपासना मंत्राः। Now we will do three mantras from Swasti Vachanam and Shanti Karanam. As I was told, from 16 to 18 from Swasti Vachanam and Shanti Karanam. Today we will recite these three mantras from each. Atha Swasti Vachanam. ॐ सुत्रामाणं पृथिवीं द्यामनेह संशुशर्माणमदितिं सुप्रणीतिं दैवीं नावं स्वरित्रामनागमस्रवन्ती मारुहे मा स्वस्तये। ॐ विश्वे यजत्रा अधिवोचतोतये त्रायध्वं नो दुरेवाया अभिहुतः सत्ययावो देवहूत्याहुवेम शृण्वतो देवा अवसे स्वस्तये। ॐ अपामि वामप विश्वामनाहुतिमपारातिं दुर्विदत्रामघायतः आरे देवा द्वेषो अस्मद्युयो तनोरुणः शर्म यच्छता स्वस्तये। अब हम शांति कर्णम के 16 से 18वें मंत्र तक पाठ करेंगे। ॐ अहानिशं भवन्तु नः शं रात्रिः प्रतिधीयताम् शन्न इन्द्राग्नि भवतामवोभिः शन्न इन्द्रावरुणारात हव्या शन्न इन्द्रापूषणा वाजसातौ शमिन्द्रा सोमा सुविताय संयोः। ॐ शन्नो देवीरभिष्टय आपो भवन्तु पीतये संयोरभिस्रवन्तु नः। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्ति ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। हमने शांति कर्णम के और स्वस्ति वाचन के तीन मंत्रों का पाठ किया। अब हम आचमन करेंगे। Take few drops of water on the palm of your right hand And after the mantra 3 times, please sip the water with the after the mantra. Om Amritopastaranamasi Swaha. Please drink. This is to purify ourselves. Second time, take few more drops. Second time. Om Amritapidhanamasi Swaha. Drink this one also. Now third time. Take again. And after the mantra, please sip the water. Om Satyam Yashah Shrirmai Shri Shayatam Swaha. Please drink this one also. Take few more drops and wash, just rinse your hand on the floor or behind you, wherever you find it convenient. Now, please take few drops on the palm of your left hand for Angi Sparsh, for the purification and strengthening of our senses and physical body. From right to left, we will touch different body parts. Om Vangma Ase Astu. Om Nasor Me Prano Astu. First you have to touch the water, then you touch. Om Akshanor Me Chakshurastu. Om Karnayor Me Shrotramastu. Om Bahor Me Balamastu. Om Urvorma Ojo Astu. Om Arishtani Mengani Tanustanvame Sahasantu. Just sprinkle that water on you, around you. Now, Agni Adhan, Deepak Prajwalan karenge. Deep Prajwalan, there is a lamp in front of you. You will light that lamp with the matchstick. There is a small lamp with cotton wick. With the mantra, please light the lamp. Can you see the lamp? Mihir?
Hanji, he has.
Can you hear me, Mihir?
Acharya, let's keep on going. Ji.
Can you see the lamp in front of you? Please light that lamp with the matchstick. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha. Please light the lamp. And now we will establish fire in the Havan Kund. There must be whatever you have, camphor or cotton wool with which, take the camphor. And after the mantra, please, Agni ko pratisthit karenge.
Acharya ji, just one thing. Some of the people are doing Havan only in the Deepak. So those who have Deepak, they will just continue in the Deepak. Rest, they will enlighten establish the fire in the Havan.
Okay. Whoever has only Deepak, please, you light the Deepak. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swardyauriva Bhumna Prithvi Vavarimna Tasyaste Prithvi Deva Yajani Prishthe Agni Mannada Mannadhyaya Dadhe. Om Udbuddha Swagne Pratijagrahi Tvamishtha Purte Sangsrije Thamayancha Asmin Sadaste Adhyutar Asmin Vishwe Devaya Jamanasya Sidata. Now please take who is doing Havan in the Havan Kund, 3 wood sticks and dip them into the ghee. And after Swaha, please offer that wood stick in the Havan. Om Ayanta Idma Atma Jata Vedaste Nedhyasva Vardhasva Chedda Vardhaya Chasman Prajaya Pashu Bir Brahma Varchase नान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ समिधाग्निं दुवस्यत घृतैर्बोर्धयता तिथिम् अस्मिन् हव्या जुहोतन ॐ सुसमिद्धाय शोचिषे घृते घृतं तीव्रं जुहोतन अग्नये जातवेदसे स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ तन्त्वा समिद्भिरङ्गिरो घृतेन वर्धयामसि बृहच्छोछाय विष्ठय स्वाहा इदमग्नये अंगिरसे इदन्न मम पंचघृत आहुति 5 घी की आहुति देंगे ओम अयंत इद्म आत्मा जात वेदस्तेनेध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जातवेदस्तेनेध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जातवेदस्तेनेध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जातवेदस्तेनेध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम ॐ अयन्त इद्म आत्मा जातवेदस्तेनेध्यस्व वर्धस्व चेद्वर्धय चास्मान् प्रजया पशुभिर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेनान्नाद्येन समेधय स्वाहा इदमग्नये जातवेदसे इदन्न मम स्प्रिंकलिंग ऑफ वाटर जल सिंचन करेंगे फर्स्ट इन द ईस्ट डायरेक्शन ओम अदिते अनुमन्यस्व on the west ओम अनुमते अनुमन्यस्व on the north ओम सरस्वत्यनुमन्यस्व आप मंत्र के बाद साउथ से स्टार्ट करेंगे दक्षिण दिशा से ओम देव सविता प्रसूव यज्ञं प्रसूव यज्ञपतिं भगाय दिव्यो गंधर्वाः केतपुः केतन्नः पुनातु वाचस्पतिर्वाचन्नः स्वदतु ऑल अराउंड अघारा वाज्य भाग आहुति 4 oblations with ghee pouring ghee in a line first in the north side on your left second on the right side on your right no, south side and 2 in the center om agnaye swaha idam agnaye danna mama om somaya swaha idam somaya idanna mama ओम प्रजापतये स्वाहा इदं प्रजापतये इदन्न मम ओम इंद्राय स्वाहा इदम् इंद्राय इदन्न मम for Vyahriti Ahuti 4 oblations of ghee only ओम भूरग्नये स्वाहा इदम् अग्नये इदन्न मम ओम भुवर्वायवे स्वाहा इदं वायवे इदन्न मम ओम स्वरादित्याय स्वाहा इदमादित्याय इदन्न मम ओम भूर्भुवः स्वरग्निवायवादित्येभ्यः स्वाहा। इदमग्निवायवादित्येभ्य इदन्न मम। अब स्विष्टकृत आहुति, प्रसाद की आहुति, मीठे की आहुति, जो भी आपने लिया हो, ओम वो सभी करेंगे, घी के साथ भी और जो सहायक यजमान हैं वो भी। ओम यदस्य कर्मणो अत्यरीरिचं यद्वान्योनमिहाकरम् अग्निष्टत् सुष्कृत विद्यात् सर्वं शिष्टं सुहुतं करोतु मे। अग्नये स्विष्टकृते सुहुतहुते सर्वप्रायश्चित्ताहुतीनां कामानां समर्धयित्रे सर्वान्नः कामान् समर्धय स्वाहा। इदमग्नये स्विष्टकृते इधन्न मम। एक मौन प्रजापत्य आहुति केवल घी की। ओम स्वाहा। इदं प्रजापतये इदन्न मम। नाउ अब प्रातःकालीन और सायंकालीन आहुति, घी और सामग्री दोनों साथ में। ओम सूर्यो ज्योतिर्ज्योतिः सूर्यः स्वाहा। ओम सूर्यो वर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा। ओम ज्योतिः सूर्यः सूर्यो ज्योतिः स्वाहा। ओम सजुर्देवेन सवित्रा सजुरुषेन्द्रवत्याजुषाणः सूर्यो वेतु स्वाहा। ओम अग्निर्ज्योतिर्ज्योतिरग्निः स्वाहा। ओम अग्निवर्चो ज्योतिर्वर्चः स्वाहा। ओम स्वाहा। ओम सजुर्देवेन सवित्रा सजुरात्रेन्द्रवत्याजुषाणो अग्निर्वेतु स्वाहा। ओम भूरग्नये प्राणाय स्वाहा। इदमग्नये प्राणाय इदन्न मम। ओम भुवर्वायवे अपानाय स्वाहा। इदं वायवे अपानाय इदन्न मम। ओम स्वरादित्याय व्यानाय स्वाहा। इदमादित्याय व्यानाय इदन्न मम। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वरग्निवायवादित्येभ्यः प्राणापानव्यानेभ्यः स्वाहा। इदमग्निवायवादित्येभ्यः प्राणापानव्यानेभ्यः इदन्न मम। ओम आपो ज्योतिरसो अमृतं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवः स्वरोम स्वाहा। ओम या मेधां देवगणः पितरश्चोपासते तया मा मध्य मेधयाग्ने मेधाविनं कुरु स्वाहा। ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव स्वाहा। ओम अग्नेनय सुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देव वयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठान्ते नम उक्तिं विधेम स्वाहा। अब हम कुछ विशेष जन्म दिवस के मंत्रों की आहुति देंगे। आज बालक मिहिर खन्ना का जन्मदिन है। He is turned today 11 years. So for his good health and all his bright future, we will pray for him to Ishwar. ओम उपप्रियं पनिप्नतं युवाग्नमाहुतिवृधम् आगन्म बिभ्रतो नमो दीर्घमायुः किणोतु मे स्वाहा। ओम शतं जीव शरदो वर्धमानः शतं हेमन्तान् शतमु वसन्तान् शतमिन्द्राग्नि सविता बृहस्पतिः शतायुषा हविषेमं पुनर्दुः स्वाहा। ओम सम्मा सिञ्चन्तु मरुतः सम्पूषा सं बृहस्पतिः सम्मायमग्निः सिञ्चतु प्रजया च धनेन च दीर्घमायुः किणोतु मे स्वाहा। अब हम सभी हमारे आर्य परिवारों के उत्तम स्वास्थ्य एवं कल्याण के लिए कुछ आहुति करेंगे। ओम जीवास्थ जिव्यासम सर्वमायुर्जिव्यासम स्वाहा। ओम उपजीवास्थोपजिव्यासम सर्वमायुर्जिव्यासम स्वाहा। ओम संजीवास्थ जिव्यासम सर्वमायुर्जिव्यासम स्वाहा। ओम जीवलास्थ जिव्यासम सर्वमायुर्जिव्यासम स्वाहा। ओम वर्च आदेहि मे तन्वां सह ओजो वयो बलम् इंद्रियाय त्वा कर्मणे वीर्याय प्रतिगृह्णामि शतशारदाय स्वाहा। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा। अब हम 3 गायत्री मंत्रों से आहुति देंगे। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा। पूर्ण आहुति करेंगे 3। ओम सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ओम सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। ओम सर्वं वै पूर्णं स्वाहा। यज्ञ प्रार्थना करेंगे हम सभी मिलकर। पूजनीय प्रभो हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए, छोड़ देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। वेद की बोले ऋचाएं सत्य को धारण करें, हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे शोक सागर से तरें। अश्वमेधाधिक रचाएं यज्ञ पर उपकार को, धर्म मर्यादा चला कर लाभ दें संसार को। नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहें, रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहें। भावना मिट जाए मन से पाप अत्याचार की, कामनाएं पूर्ण हो में यज्ञ से नर नार की। लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीवधारी के लिए, वायु जल सर्वत्र हो शुभ गंध को धारण किए। स्वार्थ भाव मिटे हमारा प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो, इदन्न मम का सार्थक प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। हाथ जोड़ झुकाए मस्तक वंदना हम कर रहे, नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा आपकी सब पर रहे। यज्ञ रूप प्रभो हमारे भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए, छोड़ देवें छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए। प्रभो आत्मिक बल दीजिए। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। हे नाथ सब सुखी हो, कोई न हो दुखारी, सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। सब भद्र भाव देखें, सन्मार्ग के पथिक हों, दुखिया न कोई होवे, सृष्टि में प्राणधारी। दुखिया न कोई होवे, सृष्टि में प्राणधारी। अब हम सभी श्रेष्ठ यजमानों को आशीर्वाद देंगे। मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि मिहिर जी के साथ जो उनके गार्जियन बैठे हैं, पिताजी हैं, तो वो खड़े हो जाएं। थोड़ा सा अगर पुष्प उनके फ्लावर्स, इफ दे हैव फ्लावर्स, एंड whoever is elderly, they will bless their children and grandchildren with water or with flowers, whatever you have you can take. मेरे साथ बोलेंगे जो सभी पेरेंट्स हैं यजमानों के। ओम सत्याः सन्तु यजमानस्य कामाः, ओम सफलाः सन्तु यजमानस्य कामाः, ओम पूर्णाः सन्तु यजमानस्य कामाः, ओम सौभाग्यमस्तु, ओम शुभम भवतु, ओम स्वस्ति स्वस्ति स्वस्ति। थोड़ा सा बच्चे पे पानी छिड़क दीजिए, या अगर आपके पास थोड़ा सा फ्लावर्स पेटल्स हो वो ले लीजिए। ओम स्वस्ति पंथामनुचरेम सूर्या चंद्रमसा विव, पुनर्दधताज्ञता जानता संगमे मही। ओम ये देवानां यज्ञिया यज्ञियानां मनोर्यजत्रामृतारितज्जः, तेनो रासन्ता मुरगाय मध्य यूयं पात स्वस्तिभिः सुदानः। ओम स्वस्ति, ओम स्वस्ति, ओम स्वस्ति। बहुत बहुत सभी यजमानों को आशीर्वाद और शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद।
Namaste everyone, and thank you Acharya ji for beautifully conducting the Havan today. As we saw, we were celebrating Mihir's happy birthday. He turned 11 a couple of days back. Happy birthday to Mihir. And if any one of you is having any special events in the family, we wish them all the best. We wish them health, happiness, prosperity, and long life. I'm sure, and of course, for all of the Yajamans who did the Havan today, we wish them the best for their wishes to come true. So before we get to Acharyaji's pravachan, we'll have a couple of bhajans. Maybe I can first request Adarni Al-Reja ji for his bhajan, and then I'm going to sing a prayer for Mihir. So that will be a blessing as well as prayer as well. So let's start with Adarni Al-Reja ji. I'm asking him to unmute now. अनम्यूट करिएगा आप प्लीज अलरेजा जी। हाँ जी,
आवाज आ रहा है
जी।
उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी। उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी। घंटी बज जाए कब कूच की, घंटी बज जाए कब कूच की, मौत हरदम सिराने खड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, इन शुभ कर्मों का फल है यह, तुझे मानव का चोला मिला। इन शुभ कर्मों का फल है यह, तुझे मानव का चोला मिला। जो आया है जाएगा वो, बंद होगा नया सिलसिला। जो आया है जाएगा वो, बंद होगा नया सिलसिला। वेद की कैसी एक एक कड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, इस जवानी पे इतरार न तू, बातों बातों में चुक जाएगी। इस जवानी पे इतरार न तू, बातों बातों में चुक जाएगी। तुम्हारा सीना सुकड़ जाएगा और कमर टेढ़ी झुक जाएगी। तुम्हारा सीना सुकड़ जाएगा और कमर टेढ़ी झुक जाएगी। टेक करके चलेगा छड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, जो करना है ले आज कर, कुछ खबर प्यारे कल की नहीं। जो करना है ले आज कर, कुछ खबर प्यारे कल की नहीं। मानव चोले को कर ले सफल, फिर देर एक पल की नहीं। मानव चोले को कर ले सफल, फिर देर एक पल की नहीं। कुछ सांसों की जाए लड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी। घंटी बज जाए कब कूच की, घंटी बज जाए कब कूच की, मौत हरदम सिराने खड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, उस प्रभु की है कृपा बड़ी। याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी, याद कर ले घड़ी दो घड़ी। हरिओम।
धन्यवाद आदरणीय अलरेजा जी for the very melodious bhajan.
Thank you जी।
Many thanks. So let's sing this prayer. Of course, I'll sing it and you all can repeat while being on mute. This is a prayer for a child, but the blessings that we give to the child, and you can sing this blessing to your children anytime. in future as well. इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। बने सुमन सा कोमल सुंदर दानी बन कर दान करे, दुष्टों से ना डरे कभी यह श्रेष्ठों का सम्मान करे। बने सुमन सा कोमल सुंदर दानी बन कर दान करे, दुष्टों से ना डरे कभी यह श्रेष्ठों का सम्मान करे। मानव धर्म समझ कर चलने वाला चतुर सुजान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। विजय चौतरफा जय हो इसकी, पाए सुख सम्मान भी, शत आयु से अधिक हो जीवन करे धर्म हित दान भी। विजय चौतरफा जय हो इसकी, पाए सुख सम्मान भी, शत आयु से अधिक हो जीवन करे धर्म हित दान भी। नेता बने यह देश अपने का, जग भर में सम्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। परम भक्त बने परम प्रभु का, अपना यश फैलाए यह, मात पिता की सेवा करके सच्चा सेवक कहलाए यह। परम भक्त बने परम प्रभु का, अपना यश फैलाए यह, मात पिता की सेवा करके सच्चा सेवक कहलाए यह। नाम अमर करे जग में अपना, सर्व गुणों की खान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। इस कुल का यह दीपक प्यारा बालक आयुष्मान हो, तेजस्वी वर्चस्वी निर्भय सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो, सर्वोत्तम विद्वान हो। धन्यवाद। And again, birthday wishes to Nihil on his birthday. You can sing this prayer to your children anytime you find. It's applicable every time, every day, even if it is birthday or not. Before I invite Acharya Varun Dev Ji for today's talk, just a couple of announcements. As you all know, we are around 12 to 13 days away from our Arya Mahasammelan in Houston. Many of you are coming, so we have registrations of around 270 people at this time, and we are hoping that we'll cross 300 people, which is a decent number. It's after 3 years that we are meeting in person, and I'm urging all of you, if you have not signed up to be there, please do register, do attend. It is to pay tributes to the Renaissance Maharshi Dayananda Saraswati on the commemoration of his 200 sanitary celebrations. So we all are going to meet there. If you need any information, any questions, you can send an email to mahasammelan@gmail.com, and your email will be promptly responded to. All the registered people should be getting a logistics email soon, or they would have got one, and they'll be getting one more with the detailed information. And of course, Mahasammelan happens to be our annual fundraising drive as well. Many of you have been donating. Many of you have been trying to get more donors as well. If any of you wants to give donations to the Sabha on the occasion of Mahasammelan, please let one of us know. Appreciate all the support, financial support, volunteer support, moral support, whatever you do. We greatly appreciate all of that. So on the Saturday during the Mahasammelan, we will have to change the timings of this weekly services. We'll try to align it with the Havan in the Houston at that time. So we will keep everyone posted about the revised timing for that Saturday. The next Saturday, the Havan will be on schedule as normal, but the following Saturday, which will be 29th of July, that is when there will be a change in the timings. With that said, I invite Acharya Varun Devji to give us a talk about the introduction on the Nyaya Darshan. As you all know, there are 6 schools of philosophy, and Nyaya Darshan is one of them. As Acharya is going to speak mostly in English, so we'll not do any English translation. So Acharya, you have around 28 to 29 minutes for your sermon. Acharya Varun Devji.
धन्यवाद आदरणीय विश्रुत जी, बहुत बहुत। हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखं तत्त्वं पूषन्न पावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Respected Vishrutji and all Bhuneshji and all the committee members, board members of Arya Pratinidhi Sabha America, all the congregants of this today's Yajna, and all Arya friends, Namaste to everyone. Today we are taking a very useful and practical school of knowledge of philosophy in our Vedic culture, that is called Nyaya Darshanam. Some people are telling they can't hear it well.
It's better now. Please keep on.
So, in fact, these 6 schools of our Vedic philosophy are for us gems and a highest knowledge, which we call also the knowledge which leads us towards the Vedas more deeply and more dominantly and more precisely. Today we are going to penetrate into the concepts of Nyaya Darshan, which was derived by Maharishi Gautam in the Vedic age. These principles and conceptions are the highest advanced form of syllogism. Syllogism is the reasoning, the logical derivations of different elements in the existence. So I would like to first because Swami Satyapati ji was my guru. And in his writing somewhere, first he started Darshan Yoga Mahavidyalaya in Rojad. And I still remember when I was 12 years old, 13 years old, my elder brother used to take me to Darshan Yoga Mahavidyalaya, to his camps, where we were taught in those camps different parts of the different darshans, like Yoga Darshan, Nyaya Darshan, Sankhya Darshan. And in those, at that time, his presence, Swami Satyapati ji's presence was so vibrant, and all other sadhaks and his disciples were so intense in their practice of yoga that gave me the lifetime boost to lead my life towards the Vedic way of living. So what he writes in his own words, I would like to quote here. First, we proceed. He says, it is one of a letter. He says, ईश्वर की कृपा से मेरा स्वास्थ्य कुछ ठीक चल रहा है, आपका भी स्वास्थ्य उत्तम बना रहे, यह अच्छा है, यह इच्छा है। यह न्याय दर्शन मोक्ष शास्त्र है. When he writes that this Nyaya Darshan is the scripture to attain moksha, to attain the salvation, to attain the eternal delight, the self-realization, which means he has realized that state in which, from which he is talking. अर्थात इसको अच्छे प्रकार से गुरुओं से पढ़कर और मन वचन व कर्म से क्रिया रूप में लाने से मोक्ष की प्राप्ति होती है. When I was with him, whenever I got that opportunity, that divine opportunity to be near him, he used to take us on the stroll in the evening walk, and he used to tell us different kinds of these conceptions and with his proof of experiences. So when he is telling that Nyaya Darshan is the scripture to attain the realization of the self, which for me is a lot meaning to my heart and my life. And now I would like to proceed towards into the Nyaya Darshan. I have told you that Nyaya Darshan is the highest form of syllogism, the logic, and that logic which always guides us to differentiate between what is truth and what is false. Basically, if we see the translation, the exact translation of Nyaya, what is Nyaya? What Maharishi Dhananji is giving us the definition of Nyaya. Nyaya means to differentiate without any partiality in our mind, in our heart, when we can say, we can differentiate between truth and falsehood. That is Nyaya. And if we are not completely less, completely entitled, and if we have not attained, we have not imbibed the principles and those conceptions which is there in the Nyaya Darshan, we cannot differentiate correctly between right and wrong, between dharma and adharma, between satya and asatya. So Nyaya Darshan gives us that insight. Nyaya Darshan gives us that insight and that knowledge and that precise conceptions with which we can find out, we can differentiate, which we can distinguish what is good and what is bad, what is truth, what is falsehood, and what is correct and what is incorrect. So first of all, we should have that deep within our heart, that Shraddha, that faith in the scriptures, in the rishis, that is called Shabd Praman. But let's start now. There are in this Nyaya Darshan 5 chapters, and in each chapter there are two parts which we call Ahanik. In Nyaya Darshan there are sub chapters in the chapter. There are 5 chapters and let's say 10 sub chapters, two sub chapters each in each chapter. So there are total 530 sutras, the formulas to attain that logical mind, that purified intelligent and intellect, which can lead us, which can direct us, which can give us the vision of truth. So let's proceed now to the first formula or first sutra of Nyaya Darshanam. Atha Prathamodhyayasya Pratham Ahanikam. In this first sutra, Maharshi Gautam is giving the 16 elements which he will elaborate in further sutras and chapters and sub-chapters. This is all about these 16 elements. So first sutra is Praman, Prameya, Shanshaya, Prayojan, Drishtant, Siddhant, Avayav, Tark, Nirnay, Vad, Jalp, Vitanda, Hetvabhas, Chal, Jati, Nigrah Sthananam, Tattva Jananihi Shreya Sadhigamaha. Ye Pratham, this is the first sutra of Nyaya Darshanam, of the first chapter. And when we go to the word by word, Praman, Prameya, Shanshaya, Prayojan, Drishtant, Siddhant, Avayav, Tark, Nirnay, Vad, Jalp, Vitanda, हेत्वाभास, छल, जाति, निग्रहस्थान, इन 16 पदार्थों के यथार्थ ज्ञान से मोक्ष की प्राप्ति होती है. तत्व ज्ञानात अर्थात इन 16 पदार्थों के if we have attained the knowledge of these 16 elements or 16 substances, what will happen? After that attainment of the right knowledge of these 16 elements or substances, we will attain the salvation, we will attain the eternal delight, we will attain the self-realization. So this is very important and very practical in our life. Whenever I do swadhyay of Yoga Darshan, of Sankhya Darshan and Nyaya Darshan, these writings, these shastras always guides us practically. So now we will go now to the next sutra, which is more now elaborating about the different attributes of syllogism. The second sutra is Dukh Janma Pravritti Dosh Mithya Janano Muttarottaro Paye Tadantara Paya Dapavargaha. This is the second sutra, which is beautiful if we try to understand this meaning of this sutra. What it says, Dukh Janma Pravritti Dosh और मिथ्या ज्ञान के आगे आगे के पदार्थों के नष्ट हो जाने पर उसके अनंतर अर्थात अव्यवहित पूर्व के नाश हो जाने से मोक्ष होता है. In this sutra, Maharshi Gautam has given a cycle, a vicious cycle of life and death, which is forever there till we have not broken this vicious cycle. What is this cycle? This cycle starts with dukh. Dukh means suffering, and there are different kinds of suffering in our life. As we all know, we have so much psychological suffering, we have so much physical suffering, We have so much emotional suffering in our life. So all these different trivid suffering, we have suffering from the nature, we have suffering, different suffering from the diseases, we have different suffering from the people. If somebody has communicated me in a very rude way, I am suffered mentally. So all these suffering is, there is a reason. If we are reading, if we are doing Swadhyaya of Nyaya Darshanam, we will try to get the concept of cause and effect very deeply. And this cycle shows that cause and effect, this is the cycle of cause and effect. So what is the cause of dukh? So the cause of dukh, the cause of our suffering, Maharshi Gautam says, is janm, is birth. When we have embodied this mind, we have embodied this life, we have embodied this whole composition, whole compound of different parts of our being, which means we have taken birth in this physical body. Soul is, of course, eternal, but it embodies this physical sheath, this vital sheath, this mental sheath. And till we will get birth again and again, there will be suffering if we have this mind and body and life. So the cause, the main cause of our suffering is birth or genesis. And what is the cause of that? Of the janma is pravritti. What is pravritti? Pravritti is always the tendency in ourselves to act. And what does that tendency is derived? How does it derive? From where does it derive? It derives from our inclination into the vishayas, into the different objects of our senses. When we incline towards those objects, of course, we will be intended to, in order to taste or in order to experience those objects. That gives us, that forces us to do the action, which enforces us to involve ourselves in the different activities to get pleasure or to remove the pain from our lives. So pravritti, the next is dosh. And we all know that what is dosh? Dosh is when we all know this whole world is the God Almighty Parmeshwar has created this whole universe with three elements, sattva, rajas and tamas. And till we are entangled in the activities which is driven from these three elements, whether it is sattva, whether it is rajas or tamas, all our actions will be faulty, will not be 100% pure and nishkam. Always we will have some selfishness in ourselves if we are being driven by these three gunas or these three attributes of nature, which are fundamental in the nature. If you see, even everything in the world has these three attributes. Whatever we eat, whether the food is sattvic or rajasic or tamasic. Sattvic, how do we distinguish between sattvic and rajasic and tamasic? The simple answer is whatever elevates our consciousness, food, people, or whatever around us, whatever is inspiring us towards the knowledge, towards the satsang, towards the good attributes, noble attributes, which simply means we are in the sattva guna. Rajas, when we are all the time restless, all the time not very comfortable, all the time want to attain, intent to do something, we are in Rajoguna, in the grip of Rajoguna. And the third one is Tamasic, when we are idle, mentally, physically, emotionally, we have no drive in our life. We just want to leave everything on the future. We will see tomorrow. We will see later. All these tendencies in our nature is being driven or being led by the Tamoguna. So this dosha comes from the guna, from this triguna, which Shri Krishna also describes very well in the Gita. Now, the root cause of from where all this cycle starts, now he is describing that. That is Mithya Jan. And if my dear Arya friends and respected all members, if we remember that from Yoga Darshan, Maharshi Patanjali, when he is describing the root cause of our suffering, he says avidya is the root cause of our suffering. And what is avidya? Mithya Jnana. And what is Mithya Jnana? Is the incorrect perception, the false perception of objects in our mind, in ourselves. Everything in this Nyaya Darshan is depending on perception. Perception is very important now for us. So, for example, a simple example, suppose there is a dark room, and in that dark room, you are sitting in the dark. Suddenly, little far from you, you see a kind of black robe or something. Immediately, the perception you get in your mind, you are getting there that, oh, it must be a snake. Then, out of that false perception, what is arising? Fear. And what does that fear leading us? It is leading us towards the psychological suffering, even physical suffering. Someone can shiver, someone can be very trapped, someone can tremble in that fear. And someone even can have panic attacks. So this is small, this is the example, this is small false perception in our mind. We have generated fear. So here, Mithya Jan is that false perception we have in our mind and which is driving us in our actions. Because we meet daily so many people, we meet so many families, we interact with different people, different objects, and whatever perception we are creating in our mind is going to affect our psychology, our future. So basically, Nyaya Darshan guides us how to make our perception correct, truthful. What is truth? Which really exists. That is the definition of truth. Which really exists is truth. And whatever does not exist is falsehood. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. Whatever is not, whatever is existing, only we can have experience of that. And whatever does not exist is beyond our approach, and we are unnecessarily creating problems in our life. Now, we have little bit proceeded towards this cycle. Again, I am repeating once more. Dukh, Janm, Priti, Dosh, Mithya Jan. And then he says, when one by one we break the cycle, first we get our knowledge more correct, more truthful, and more real. Then automatically more and more we can come out of that vicious circle or cycle of these doshas, which is created by different gunas in our life, as I told you. And if we have come out of those grip of that gunas, what will be the effect of that? We will not be intended to involve ourselves in the actions which will lead us again towards the entanglement in the different kinds of difficulty psychologically and emotionally. And Janm, of course, when we are nishkam, when we don't have any selfishness, when we are selfless, then automatically we will not get birth. And if there is no birth, of course we will get salvation. So we will get freedom. Basically, this word mukti, moksha, is the freedom from all suffering. That is the definition of moksha. Somebody, Swami Satyapati ji, in the Bhumika, he says that moksha is when you are free from all suffering, which means you are liberated. Jivan Mukt Avastha. So, in the next class, or in the next, whenever I will get the opportunity to speak on Nyaya Darshan, we will go more deeper. But before that, I will give you a simple example, beautiful example, how we prove different propositions through 5 rules, through 5 means or 5 phases, stages, which we call, first is our main proposition or pratijja. Whatever we want to prove, we will take that proposition, we will declare that I want to prove this. For example, I want to prove Ishwar ajanma hai. The Ishwar is, he does not take birth. So how will we prove that? How will we prove? With this panchayavyav. It is called panchavyav. There are 5 stages of proving that, 5 elements. What is first? Pratijja. This is pratijja, proposition. Second is reason. We have to give reason. If we are trying to declare or prove something, we have to give a logical understanding or logical derivation. How can we prove that is Ishwar is ajanma? He does not take birth. Now, what is our hetu? बिना प्राकृतिक साधनों के अपने कार्य करने में समर्थ होने से. What does that mean? अर्थात God or Ishwar, whatever name we take, divine, we all know that this whole creation, this whole universe is created without his, we can't see his hands and legs. He has created this with his will. So which means that he does not need the body in order to create something. He is omnipotent. If he is not omnipotent, only then he has to take birth, because he cannot do things otherwise. So this is the reason we are giving here, that only the beings or the anything which needs the physical means to create something takes birth. Like we all human beings, if we want to do something, we have to move our hands, our legs, our body to fulfill that purpose. But he does not, which means this is the reason that he does not do that. And after that, we will give a simple example after the reason. What is the example? Like an analogy, like animals or like human beings. We all use our physical means, that is body, in order to fulfill to complete our actions. But God does not need anything of this. Upnay. Upnay is when we want to, before conclude, we have to connect our reason with the example. So when we connect hetu with the udharan, then we give, जैसे मनुष्य आदि प्राणी बिना प्राकृतिक साधनों के अपने कार्य नहीं कर सकता, वैसा ईश्वर नहीं है. It is not like human beings or animals who has taken the birth. They have to act with their physical means, with their bodies, but the God does not need all this because he can do everything without any physical means. And what is the conclusion? Therefore, without any physical means, God can fulfill his actions. Therefore, he is birthless. He does not take birth, he does not need. So this is a kind of introduction. In Nyaya Darshan, we prove different propositions according to the syllogism Maharshi Gautam ji has derived on behalf of the correct and true logic. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much, Acharya ji, for this little insight into the Nyaya Darshan. As Acharya ji did mention, that it's considered an important tool for understanding and analyzing various aspects of life and knowledge. And of course, it provides a systematic framework for critical thinking, logical analysis, and the pursuit of truth. So Swami Dayanand continued to focus on the focus of truth. He always portrayed, or he always said, that do not just believe the truth, first know the truth, understand the truth, do the reasoning, do the logic, and these darshans, any of these darshans, help us to reach to the ultimate truth. And of course, it's merely an introduction. It's a full darshan shastra that we ought to study. And more deeper we go, a lot of time we find these concepts a little complex to understand, but then that's what is Swadhyaya. And Swadhyaya is one of the duties of all of us. So I hope that in the coming lectures, Acharya ji will talk about Nyaya Darshan a little more, and we'll get more into insights. But ideally, we would want to have a regular class, as we are doing the Satyarth Prakash class or Rigveda Bhashi Bhumika class for the Nyaya Darshan as well. Ishwar इच्छा से वो भी हम पूरा करेंगे, तो जब भी समय होगा. But Acharya ji, I thank you for your time and trying to simplify the understanding of Nyaya Darshan for all of us. Once again, I gently reminding you that do register for the Sammelan if you have not done. And your financial support is very important for the success of our programs, to continue doing what we are doing and expand beyond what we are currently doing. Thank you once again, and I'm requesting Acharya ji to lead us to the Shanti Path and Jai Ghosh.
Dhanyavad, Adarniya Vishwajit ji. Shanti Path. Om Dyahu Shantirantariksam Shantihi Prithvi Shantirapah Shantiroshadhayah Shantihi Vanaspatayah Shantirvishve Devah Shanti Brahma Shantihi Sarvam Shantihi Shantireva Shantihi Sama Shantiredhi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जो बोले सो अभय. वैदिक
धर्म की जय.
गुरुवर विरजानंद जी की जय.
जय.
युग प्रवर्तक महर्षि दयानंद जी की जय. मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम श्री रामचंद्र जी की जय. योगेश्वर श्री कृष्ण जी की जय. सभी संतों महात्मा और ऋषियों की जय. आर्य समाज अमर रहे. वेद की ज्योति जलती रहे. ओम का झंडा ऊंचा रहे. किणवंतो विश्व मार्य. वैदिक ध्वनि. वैदिक अभिवादन.